Everyone, Amanda here, thanks for joining me. So today I'm going to show you how to make a very basic napkin journal. I'm wanting to start making one. I've got a napkin here ready and waiting, and the journals that I've already got on the go, they are mostly recycled books, to be honest. Really, for a napkin journal I want a better weight of paper, so I'm using mixed media paper. So I'm going to show you how to make the basic pages. We're going to do it TN style, and then I'll do a video another day showing how to make a cover, and then the pages are all held in with elastic so you can keep adding to it. It's really useful this way because it means you can take each section out and lay it flat on your desk. You don't have the bulk of a complete book when you're trying to work. Now, for those of you that have said, you know, you like to watch me for my journal making, my card making, etc., what I will say is these type of videos are what I call transferable skills. If you're good at writing a CV, you will have used that word, and what it means is that what you do in an art journal or a napkin journal, you can then take and use in your other crafts. Perfect for card fronts, perfect for journaling cards, tags, journal covers, and whilst you're creating your art journals or your napkin journal pages, you're getting to grips with how things work and how colours go nice together, and you know, learning how layering goes nice, and all of those skills you then can take over when you're journaling. So it's almost like a little learning process as well, and also at the end you end up with a lovely collection of your own artwork. So rather than using just a general notebook that I normally do for my other art journals, I've got one on the go that's a recycled, just an old book. I've chosen this mixed media paper because with my napkin journals, excuse me, sorry, I'm going to want to add watercolours, maybe some modelling paste, maybe some sprays. So I could do with something really that will take those colours nicely and not absorb them, and just, you know, you're not getting as good results. If you don't use really good paper, then watercolours don't flow nicely, that kind of thing. So I've picked up this Winsor & Newton mixed media pad. It wasn't overly expensive. Proper full watercolour paper is quite expensive. Mixed media paper is a little bit cheaper. It's 250 GSM and I paid about £7 for it. Okay, it's A4, you get quite a lot of sheets. Alright, so what I've done, mine's perforated. So I've removed 3, so each booklet is only going to have 3 sheets. Because it's quite thick, and you want it to lay flat, we're going to do it in sections of 3 pages. Okay, so what first thing we want to do is we're going to cut it on the length, because we want it a kind of TN style. And the good thing about TN styles is you get narrower pages, so it's less overwhelming. So I'm going to keep the, you know, the depth. I'm just going to cut it on the long side, and I'm going to cut each one to 8 inches. So that will give us pages that are roughly 8 by 8 1/4, so that when they're folded together they'll be 4 by 8 1/4, which is roughly TN size. Different people say different things for TN size, that's rough. Now these I'm going to keep because I can use these offcuts. I'll guard them with my life. I can make tags out of them, wonderful mixed media tags for my journals. Cut that one by 8 as well. So this is quite thick, so when you score it and fold it, it may well crack, and in fact it probably will, but it doesn't matter because you're going to be covering it up with mediums and napkins and things like that, so don't worry if it cracks, it doesn't matter. You know, it's not like a card where it matters if it cracks, it really doesn't matter. So I am going to score so that I get a nice crisp fold. So we're scoring at 4. So make sure you've got it on the 8 inch, because the other one is going to be 8 1/4. So on the 8 inch side, give it a score at 4. Now you could round the corners off if you wanted. I don't know. I don't know if I want to round the corners. I don't think I do. I think I'm going to leave it. Okay, then I'm going to burnish them with my bone folder. So this one hasn't cracked too bad, it's split a very tiny amount. If that was a card going to somebody special, I wouldn't be very happy, but because, as I say, we're going to be covering it with paint and napkins, etc., it doesn't matter, and it's not going to crack so bad that it's going to completely split. It's just the fibres, and it's nice thick paper, it will be fine. So the reason why we're only doing 3, okay, and the next reason is because this is thick paper. When you do 3, once it's folded together like that, you'll see that the pages start to protrude from each other. Okay, now that's normal. Now some people, when they make the journals and they make the TNs, they will get it all sewn in and then they would trim that. Okay, I'm not going to do, because then when you open it like so, then it's flush. Okay, so don't worry if you get that, it's normal. Don't think you've done something wrong or it's not right or it's no good. That's normal and it's fine, and that's why we're only doing 3, and then we'll do you know, another set of 3, and then you add them to your cover when we make that. So what I'm going to just do, I'm going to bind mine in a traditional way of binding journals. Where have all of my binding clips disappeared to? Oh, I've got them on here, haven't I? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to clip there, and oh, I've just broken that one. And clip there. Okay, and I always have these hanging about, and they're round about 8 inches. So I'm just going to put it central. Okay. It doesn't need to be as perfect as if I was making a journal for somebody. It doesn't matter, it's just a napkin journal. Poke some holes there. So I've got one in the centre, and then one hole goes about 1 inch, or let me measure it, I don't know if it's 1 inch or 3/4 of an inch. Yeah, 3/4 of an inch. So find the centre point, make a hole, and then 3/4 of an inch in there, make a hole, 3/4 of an inch there, make a hole. So then you've got 3 holes like so. Now I know that that hasn't gone all the way through. That's just my scoreboard falling over. So I'm just gonna make those holes all the way through with a thinner pokey tool. Okay. And this is the same way you bind your any kind of journals. Just if I'm doing a normal journal, I've just got more pages, but it's the same process. I do it the same way every time. Okay, so I'm going to use dental floss to bind it. I use dental floss because it's cheap as chips. You know, these are 49p and you get 45 metres. It's much cheaper than linen thread, and it's just as strong. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. I go for maybe 3.5 to 4 times the length of the book, because I do double it over. Because it's a dental floss, I'm not worried if I've got a little bit of waste, because it is quite cheap. And it's not, you might think, oh well, won't that be sticky, but it's not. And it actually runs through nice, just as good as waxed linen thread. And like I say, it's a heck of a lot cheaper and easier to find. You can pick it up in your local supermarket. If you're in the UK, Home Bargains. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to start in the middle. So if you've got a long reach stapler, you could use that. I don't have one. Okay, so therefore I'm binding them. I'm not too worried, because I can always either make it of the protruding strings part of the dance, as it were, and part of my journal, or I can just put a napkin over the top. It's fine. So you go down the middle, okay, and then up the top. Okay, and then with your middle string there laid flat, you go over the top of that, over the top of it, down to the bottom hole and through. Okay, and this is the same way for binding any kind of journal. This is the 3-hole pamphlet stitch. So now I'm going to go back through that middle hole. Okay. And what I'm going to do is when I go back through, I'm going to make sure that I am at the opposite side of them two strings than I am to that one. Okay. It's quite straightforward, really. Alright. Then I'm just going to pull it. Make sure it's nice and flat and it's not got any, you know, I've not got any knots or anything like that. Then just very simply tie it in a knot. Okay, pull that nice and tight. Now, if this was a journal, I might tie it in 2 knots. And then tie it in a bow and hang things off of it. Because it's going to be a napkin journal, I'm just going to do the one, pull it really tight because it's dental floss. It kind of stretch it a tiny bit, but not loads. And then I'm going to nip it off quite close. Okay, and there we go. That's our first set of pages. Then you would put that in a cover with the elastics round, and that's your first set. So there you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 pages there. Okay, so there you go. I'll probably start with a full layout like so, or you could start in the middle and work your way, whatever. That's how we're gonna that's how I've constructed mine. So in the next video we'll start and do some napkin journaling. So I hope that helps. I just wanted to have that on my list as an introduction, so that if anybody wanted to do it and make their own, it was there, and I can refer people back to it. I'm going to add this to a playlist. If you're interested in my other art journaling, I also have an art journal with Amanda playlist that you can watch. This will go onto napkin journal with Amanda playlist. Thanks for watching. I hope that's been useful, and I look forward to starting my napkin journal with you. Bye for now.